Well, good evening, and welcome to this edition of the Leadership Edge. I'm your host, Dr. P. Ronald Wilder. This podcast, the Leadership Edge, is dedicated to talking leadership, all things leadership. It's our desire, it's our goal, it's our purpose to give you that edge you need in your leadership to help and assist you become a better leader, that you may function at a higher capacity in the areas that you have responsibility for. So thank you, amen, for tuning in. I hope you had a great day. I hope it's been everything you needed to be and you're settling down after dinner. We're going to talk a little leadership. I trust that all things will be well with what we talk about tonight. Now, before we get into our leadership talk, I want to remind you that you're watching this podcast on the platform of BGTV Studios, Facebook page, and perhaps their YouTube channel also. If you're watching on Facebook, we want you to, first of all, follow and like. Also, we want you to hit the share button. Share this podcast so we can spread it far and wide. And we want you to go to YouTube, and on the YouTube channel, BGTV Studio, I want you to subscribe. Become a subscriber. Have access to all of the archives of great podcasts that are here. And so we want you to go ahead and do those things. So like, follow, subscribe. And also during the podcast, we want you to hit comment button and let us know where you're from. If you're Gerald from Tuscaloosa, say that. If you're Billy from Montgomery, say that. We want to know where you're from, but also comment if there are things said in the discussion that really resonate with you. That will be helpful also. All right. Well, again, good evening. You know, I love talking about leadership. That's what I do. That's what this podcast is all about. We don't delve into all kind of other things. We generally try to stay what our assignment is. And our assignment is to train leaders, to raise leaders, and to, amen, give them that edge. And so we want to talk about that. Now, tonight, I want to start talking about something. We'll be on this for several weeks. I'm going to call this Leadership 101. Leadership 101. And we're going to just talk some basic leadership stuff. You know, leadership is not that deep. It's not that mysterious. It's not spooky. You know, it's just a simple art that's fluid, that's changing, and so there are various leadership in one situation may look different in another situation, and so we just like to kind of float out there. So we're going to talk about leadership, some basic leadership things today. What is a leader? A leader is one who's out front. A leader is one who's leading. As a matter of fact, in my book, The ABCs of Leadership, one of the things I say, I believe in the introduction, was that if you were to ask 10 leadership experts, if you would find 10 experts and ask them to give you the definition of leadership, guess what? You'll probably get 10 different answers. And guess what? They'll all be right. You say, how's this possible, Dr. Wilder? How's this possible? It's possible because leadership is an art and not a science. And so because it's an art, it can't be bogged down to just one definition. If it's a science, then yes, it'll be bogged down to one definition, and that is it, and that is the definition right there. But because leadership is an art, not a science, although there is science involved in leadership, leadership itself is not a science. So a leader is one who's leading the pack. He's out front. He's setting the pace. He's one doing the influencing, all of those things. They're influence, you know, taking the group where they need to go. But here's the thing we found out, that there are several things that shape a leader's journey. There are several things. How a leader thinks, the thought process. Not only the thought process of a leader, but the thought process produces the words he speaks. What is he saying? What comes out of his mouth? Another thing that shapes a leader's process is the decisions he makes. Leaders have to make decisions. That's part of the process. I meet people all the time that shun making decisions, and they don't like to make the decision. Well, you can't be a leader if you don't want to make decisions, because leadership is all about making decisions. And as a matter of fact, The higher you go in leadership, guess what? The greater the decisions, the greater the effect of those decisions. So you have to make them. And sometimes you have to make them knowing that they're going to be unpopular. They're going to be criticized. They're going to be second guessed. But guess what? That, my friend, is the burden of leadership. You have to make the tough decisions. So leaders have to make decisions. The actions that leaders take shape the habits that they develop along the way. All of these things, a leader's character. We're going to talk about all these things because they all play a part into how a leader functions and becomes everything he needs to be. Now, the one thing that I see is as a leader, we're always facing challenges, always facing new challenges. Seems like as soon as you hit over one challenge, guess what? Here comes another. And some of the challenges that we face are in various areas. Leaders face people challenge. Why? Because leaders are always looking for new people in leadership. Real leaders are always looking to bring new people into the fold. They want to keep new people coming. It doesn't mean they want to get rid of the old. It just means that you want to keep rejuvenating. You want to keep fresh ideas, fresh thought processes, fresh perspectives into the process. And so leadership always experiencing new people, looking for new people. Another thing about leadership is all leaders experience new pains in their journey. Dr. Samuel Chan often talk about leadership pain, and that your leadership will be as great as your ability to handle pain. What is your pain threshold? Some leaders can't handle pain, and so therefore they never reach the max they could because their pain threshold is low. Leadership at times is painful. Not only are leaders, dealing with painful situations, but leaders are also, another reason why leaders need new people is to bring new perspectives. You want people that will give you views that you really didn't see or you really wouldn't look at, just to do that. Every leader that I've served under, that I still serve under, when we're in meetings or have situations, I try to give them a different perspective. Hey, look at it from this perspective. Just to show them, to see. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to take that perspective, but at least it gives them a picture. All leaders need to see the total picture. They need the total perspective. And so leaders need new people that will give them new perspectives. One thing leaders are excited about is, guess what? New possibilities. Leaders love possibilities that present themselves. This is something new I can do. This is something that I haven't ventured to before. So leaders are excited about new ideas. They're excited about new possibilities. Now let's talk about new people for a moment. I said just a moment ago that leaders are always looking for new people in leadership. Okay? They're looking for new people. Why? Because leadership is filled with people issues. If you are a leader, you're going to have people issues. Leadership is filled with people issues. Listen to me very carefully. As Chris Tucker said in Rush Hour, can you understand the words coming out of my mouth? Read my lips, understand what I'm saying. Leadership is filled with people issues. No leader is immune to them, okay? There's no such thing as immunity of a leader from the issues that come with people. They come with the territories. There are some things that just come with the territory. And anytime you're dealing with people, there are issues that come. None of us are immune. I don't care what genre you're in. You could be in the church. I'm in the church business. You would think that in the church world, because everybody loving Jesus and everybody supposedly on the same team and serving the same God for the same purpose, same goal, but yet we have issues because we are imperfect, we're fallen people. Even in the church world, there are issues there. If you're in the business world, if you're in the educational world, wherever you may be, the athletic world, the business world, the political world, whatever arena it is, if you are a leader, leadership will be filled with people issues. Again, no one is immune. No one. Now, here's one of the people issues you deal with. The people who got you where you are may not be the ones who take you where you need to go. Okay? At different junctures in our lives, we need different type of people in our lives. So the problem is you have people who help you get from point A to point B, but them same people may not be able to get you from point B to point C. A new group have to come in. And so sometimes there's a shifting or changing of the guard. Now, we see this sometimes. I'm a sports guy. I'm in athletics. And sometimes you'll see a team that's close to championship level, but they recognize that they are one or two players away. And they may have a good team. They may have a team that has good chemistry, but they realize that I don't have the horses to get me over the hump to get the championship. So they have to bring in a couple of new people and maybe let a couple old people go, and they get a championship. You know, and so the people that got him to the level couldn't get him over the hump. Well, again, that's easy in sports because in sports, things are business. You know, people are paid millions of dollars, you know, and they move you like pawns on a chessboard. They sell you to the trade you to the next place. You have nothing to do. That's sports, okay? Same with business and corporation. Maybe a company has a good leadership team, but guess what? They don't have the people to get them over that hump to the next place. So what do? So they put out finders. They get headhunters to go out and hunt some of the best talent to bring in, and they bring in new talent. And sometimes that new talent moves out somebody that's been there. Again, corporate America is a job. You get reassigned. You get moved from one place to another, and so nobody thinks nothing about it. Nobody is sad because at the end of the day, the goal in sports is a championship. The goal in corporate is profits, is the, is the bottom line. And so you don't think about people's feelings. You think about what I need to do to make this better. However, in the church world where I live and where I reside and where I spend my life, it's not that easy. Because we're not like the sports team. We're not like the corporate team, okay? We don't just shuffle people off and on like they are sheep or cattle, okay? Because people that come to our churches, they invest in our churches, invest their lives. They're there. They lock in. They give their faithfulness. They give their heart to be there and to maintain that, okay? And they get a position. And although you realize that they may not be the best person for that position, we need to make an adjustment. It's not as easy because in the church world, people begin to personalize those positions. Their identity gets locked into whatever position they had. And in some cases, they get a little territorial about them, okay, because they love the church. And so it's just not as easy on this side because we have to be careful how we navigate because we don't want to injure people, hurt people, or do damage to God's people. So we can't treat them like the sports team. Say, we traded you, you go to the next church. Doesn't work like that here. We have to have a tenderness of how we make change. There have to be a skill level to preserve and make sure all people stay in place and relationships stay intact. So it's a difficult road to navigate. But nevertheless, the original fact that I said is true, that even in the church world, the people who got us to one level may not be the people that can take us to the next level. And that's a hard reality because leaders realize that I want to go here. And as much as I love these people here, as much as I love this individual, as much as I love them, they cannot take me there. It's not the idea that they don't want to. They want to. They're not bad people. They're not evil people. It's just that they don't have the skill set, the gift, and they have reached their lid, okay? That's it. They've reached their lid as high as they can go. They can't go any higher in terms of their skill set of what they do. And their skill set, let's use this example. Their skill set may be a 6. That's their max is a 6 out of 10. On a 1 to 10 scale, their max is 6, maybe even a 7. And it can get you to a place. But to go to the next place, you need a 8 or a 9 or a 10. And they can't give you that. No matter how much they desire, no matter how much they try, no matter how much they want to, they cannot, because they have reached their limit. And so if you're going to go to that next level, you have to bring in a 8, a 9, or a 10 skill set. And that's the challenge that we face. Are you listening? Now, how does that work? Well, in the leadership journey, in dealing with people, there will be 3 types of people that you encounter. Those are the people where you used to be. Here's where I used to be. I reached down to help them. There are people who are going where I'm going. I reach out to them. And then there are people who are in the place I want to be. I reach up to them. Okay? So you notice, I reach down to those that are where I used to be because I want to bring them up. I reach across to the people who are where I am and where I want to go. And then there are people who are already where I'm trying to go. I reach up to them. So the challenge of leadership is, how do I bring new people in? How do I maneuver the territory without injuring, offending, hurting? Because again, we in the church business, we're in the pastoral business. Our desire is not to hurt. But there are times when change is necessary. And this is the pain. Now, remember I said there are people issues? There'll always be people issues. Let's look at some of the people issues you deal with. What are some of the type of people that we deal with in leadership? There are positive and negative people. There are positive and negative people. Okay? Some people are positive, some people are negative. You have to navigate that. Just because someone agrees with you is not always positive. And disagreement is not always negative. A person can disagree with you and still add value to your team and to what you're trying to do. They can say, hey, I don't think this is the best course of action, but this is the action you choose. Hey, I'll roll with you on it. They still add value. Okay? So don't always think that what you consider negative to be detrimental to what you're trying to do. Sometimes there are people you've outgrown. You know, I could think back to some friends I've had in the past. And there were seasons in our life where me and these friends were tight. We were very close. And through the process of time, we grew apart. And I kept wondering, wow, we used to talk all the time. Now we rarely ever talk. What happened? What went on? And the conclusion I came to when I took an honest evaluation of the situation, the conclusion I came to was I simply outgrew them. They stayed still while I kept growing. And so because if we don't grow together, we grow apart. That's a leadership dynamic. That's why you got to keep your team growing. Because if the people around you are not growing with you, you will grow apart. And if you listen to me and you're part of a leadership team and your leaders are constantly growing, you got to grow. Or you'll lose value, you'll lose sight because he's growing and the team is growing and you're standing still. And you'll look around and everybody moved up and you're still at the same place and you'll think, well, they don't treat me like they used to. Or they acting funny. It's not acting funny. They've just grown. It's kind of like school. If we in the 5th grade together and we hung out in the 5th grade and we were classmates, we were tight. And at the end of the school year, I got promoted because I did my work and you didn't. Guess what? I'm going to the 6th grade. You're going to be in the 5th grade. Guess what's going to happen? We're not going to be in class together next year. We won't be able to hang out every day in classroom and talk and do homework together. Why? Because I'm at a different place. I'm in the 6th grade. I got different work now. I don't have 5th grade work. I got 6th grade work. What's the difference? Am I acting funny because I don't come there? He acting funny because he don't come to the 5th grade class. I'm not in the 5th grade anymore. I've grown. I've gone up. You stayed still. So we can't navigate. We can't hang out. Don't let the team outgrow you. Keep on growing. Keep on growing. And so I looked at those situations. I said, man, I just outgrew them. I outgrew them. I'm not saying they bad people. These are good people. It's just that I made a decision of a course I want to go. They didn't want to go that way. So I grew in that area. They didn't. And so as a result, it affected how we interacted. It affected how we interacted. So you have to keep growing and understand. And when you realize that there are people that you've just outgrown, don't mean they're bad people. You can't go to the 6th grade and keep hanging in the 5th grade class. That's all. Put the burden on them. Hey, catch up with me. Come on up. How you gonna come up? Well, you gonna make your 5th grade class, and maybe you gotta go to summer school next year to do the 6th, so you can get promoted to the 7th and get back with me. But put the burden on them to grow up to catch you, and not you to slow down and wait on them. Okay? And too many times I've seen leaders outgrow people and still try to hold on to them at the same level they did when they were on the same level. Doesn't work like that. You keep growing because leadership is all about growth. It's all about being a lifelong learner. It's all about growing better and better each and every day. Okay? All right. So my time is up. Wow, time goes quick when you're having fun. Hope you enjoyed our discussion today. We'll pick back up here talking about people and the types of people as a leader you deal with. We'll do that on next week. Now listen, don't forget, visit my website, www.pronaldwilder.com. That's my personal website. There you'll find my book, The ABCs of Leadership. You see it on the screen there. Principles for Personal Development. It's a great book. Will help you in your leadership journey. Also, you can go to my shop page on my website. And you'll find all my leadership teachings, over 33 leadership teachings there. It's some great stuff there. some of the stuff I talk about on the podcast, but not to the detail that I talked about in those seminars. Okay, so you want to get those. You can download them and have them on your device for a price. The best buy on my website on the shop page is the bundle package right here. It's a jump drive, and on this jump drive, you just plug it into your device. The jump drive has every teaching on my website here. If you were to buy the bundle package, you can get this every teaching for less than half of what if you bought each one individually. So this is the best buy. Get that there. All right. Don't forget, you're watching us on BGTV Studios. This is a great platform that God has raised up. It is a faith project, and it is viewer supported. If these podcasts, including mine, are a blessing to you, I want to admonish you to be a supporter of BGTV Studios, okay? You can be a one-time giver, give a good gift, or you can be a monthly giver. There are several ways you can give. They're going to pop on the screen. You'll see QR codes, one to give on the website, www.bgtvstudios, one to Venmo, and one to Cash App. Go ahead and scan whichever one of those work for you. They're all highly encrypted. So go ahead and be a blessing to BGTV Studios. This is good ground, and God will bless you. And you'll help BGTV Studios maintain what it's doing and becoming the platform and the voice that has come to the kingdom of God. Listen, my time is up. Got to roll. We'll pick up here next week. This is P. Ronald Wilder reminding you two things: leadership matters and leaders lead. God bless you. See you next Tuesday.